So we have learned different components of Crew, that is process, agent, task, tool, and memory system, right? So these are the different components of Crew. Now let's build a generative AI application by using CrewAI, and we will use these different components of Crew, right? So let's go to VS Code and try to build an agentic application by using CrewAI framework. All right. So this is our VS Code build generative AI applications workspace, and we have seen RAG demo, that is how to build a RAG application, and we have seen different chunking methods, and then we have seen prompt engineering techniques and how to load the documents by using document loaders, and we have also learned how to give memory to an LLM so it can remember the context, and chains, how to bind an LLM with different LangChain components by using chains, right? So we have seen all these different LangChain components. And now let's see tools and agents. So if you notice here inside the C drive, I have created an empty folder, tools and agents demo. So now let's add this tools and agents demo folder to our VS Code workspace. So right click, add folder to workspace, and select the folder that we have created and click add, click S. Now inside the tools and agents demo, let's create a new Python file, and we will be scraping a website. So let's go to tools and agents demo, and inside that CrewAI use case 1, and we are building a web scraping application, and click save. Okay. So in order to use CrewAI framework and also CrewAI tools, first thing is we have to install all the required packages, right? So we know by using pip install CrewAI and pip install CrewAI tools. So if you don't know the exact package name, you can always go to PyPy and get the exact package name, right? So you have to install CrewAI and CrewAI tools. So copy this and go to the terminal and execute this one, pip install CrewAI. In my case, I've already installed, so that's why it is showing requirement already satisfied. And similarly, copy this and hit enter, right? So that way these two packages will be installed. So make sure you install CrewAI and CrewAI tools. So once you install these required packages, the next thing is we have to import the required modules. So let me close this and also this. So what we are doing here, we are trying to import scrape website tool and text search tool, these two modules from CrewAI tools, and also we are trying to import agent, task, and crew, these three from CrewAI and OS module. Now let's use this scrape website tool and try to scrape a Wikipedia page. So here we are trying to use scrape website tool, and inside that we have website underscore URL parameter, and we are trying to pass the Wikipedia page. Instead of this, you can replace with any other website, and this tool will scrape the data and it will give us the data, right? So that is the intent of using this scrape website tool. So let me add that comment here. We are trying to scrape Wikipedia website by using CrewAI tool, which is nothing but scrape website tool. And inside this scrape website tool, we have a function called run. So let's try to extract the text by calling the run method, which is inside scrape website tool. So we are calling the run method and we are extracting the text. So let me save this and let's go to the terminal. So now let's try to run this code. So if you notice here, this is the entire content that the tool scraped from this Wikipedia website. Okay, so which is stored inside this text variable. So once you have the data, you can try building different agents and you can assign different tasks. For example, one agent you can assign sentiment analysis, or another agent you can ask to do translation, that is which can translate from one language to another, or another agent can send an email of some of the results, right? So once you have the data, you can try to create different tasks and assign them to different agents, right? Now let's try to store this scraped data inside a text file. So let me close the terminal. So by using this OS module, I am trying to go to the directory. This is ch directory. So this function is used to change the directory. From this directory, I'm going to my documents data folder. So from the current directory, we are going to the documents data directory. So if you see here, this folder is empty. I do not have anything currently. So let's try to save this text by creating a file and store the data inside it. So let's write the content by using file write and store this Wikipedia content, artificial intelligence. So I am storing as ai.text and we are writing the content. So whatever the text we extracted by using scrape website tool, which is from CrewAI tools, we are trying to store that content inside ai.txt. That's the text file. Okay. So what we did here, we're trying to store the scraped data into a text file ai.txt. And now we also have this text search tool. By using this text search tool, which is from CrewAI tools, let's retrieve the specific context that we want. Okay. So text search tool, and we are passing for the text attribute, I'm passing this file name. Inside this file we have our extracted data, and let's pass a question. Inside this text search tool we have a method called run, and for that we are passing what is natural language processing, right? NLP. So this is the desired content that we want. So what we did here, we are trying to use text search tool and trying to retrieve the specific context that we want from this ai.text file, right? Out of this artificial intelligence content, we only want natural language processing context, right? So we got our context, which is saved inside a context variable. So what we have done so far, we have installed all the required packages. First one is CrewAI and the next one is CrewAI tools. From CrewAI tools, we imported scrape website tool and text search tool, and from CrewAI we imported agent, task and crew. And this is the OS module. And the first thing is we used scrape website tool, and for website URL parameter we passed our website. Here instead of Wikipedia page, you can replace with any other website. And by using this scrape website tool, we scraped the website, and inside scrape website tool we have a method called run, and we called that method and we extracted the text and we stored inside a variable called text. And next thing is we changed our directory to documents data, and we wrote the content from this variable to a file. And then once we wrote the content inside this text file, next thing is we used text search tool and we passed our file name to this text attribute. And inside the text search tool we have a function called run, and here we are passing a specific context that we want. Out of this artificial intelligence text, we only want the context that is related to NLP, natural language processing, and we are storing our context inside a variable called context. Okay, so this is our desired context. So now we got the data which is stored inside our context variable. So once you have the data, the next step is, let's see how to build a multi-agentic framework by using this CrewAI, right? So we imported agent, task and crew. So in order to build a multi-agentic framework by using CrewAI, we need to define agents, task and crew. So inside the agent, we will have role, goal and backstory. And let me show the detailed description of agents. So this is the official agents documentation from CrewAI. This is the overview of an agent and what are the agent attributes. So you can see the complete attributes list inside an agent, right? So if you go here, role, goal and backstory, these are the required parameters. So what is role? Defines the agent's function and expertise within the crew. Goal means the individual objective that guides the agent's decision making. Backstory means provides context and personality to the agent, enriching interactions, right? So that is role means what the agent will do. Goal means more descriptive on what the agent will do. Backstory means complete description, right? And the LLM, which model the agent will use. So that is nothing but the LLM, and this is optional. And tools is also optional. And tools means if agent needs any tool access, right? And similarly, function calling LLM and max iterations, max RPM. RPM means request per minute, right? This is to avoid the rate limit, and this is also optional. And max execution time, this is also optional. And memory is also optional, right? So by default, agent will have some memory. So the next thing is verbose. Verbose is also optional. We've already seen this verbose is equal to true. That means it will give us the complete or detailed execution logs whenever we specify verbose is equal to true, so that we can see the complete output in the terminal, right? And allow delegation, by default it is optional. And if you give allow delegation is equal to true, it will try to delegate the tasks among different agents, right? And step callback, cache, allow code execution, max retry limit, by default it is optional. That is how many times the LLM should try. For example, let's say if you're trying to do the web crawling, right? How many attempts the LLM should try before it exits, right? And respect context window, code execution mode, use system prompt, etc., right? So you can go through all other parameters depending on your requirement. So this is how we have to create an agent. So total 3 steps. So the first step is creating agents. Second step is creating the task so that we can assign a task to an agent, and then we have to create the crew. So these are the 3 steps in order to build a multi-agentic framework by using CrewAI. Okay. So let's try to create one by one. The first step is create an agent. So we are trying to create an agent. So if you notice here, we are using agent which we imported from CrewAI, right? So inside this agent, we are passing these parameters. Role as educator, goal based on the context provided. We have already stored our context inside this context variable. So based on the context provided, answer the question, what is natural language processing context? And we are passing this dynamic variable. And backstory is you are a data expert. Verbose is equal to true. So that means it will give us the complete execution log in the terminal. And allow delegation is equal to false, because we will be creating only one agent. So that's why we give allow delegation is equal to false. And let's say if you have multiple agents, then you can give allow delegation is equal to true. So that way one agent can communicate with another agent. And for tools, we are passing this list, the tools list, which we have already defined before. So this is how you can create an agent. So that is step number 1. So if you notice here, this role, goal and backstory, this is nothing but prompt engineering, right? We have already seen this before. So this is how you can create an agent. And the next step is creating the task. Okay. So how do we define a task? By using task, which we have imported from CrewAI, right? So inside the task, we have to pass these parameters. Description, what this task will do, understand the topic and give the correct response. And tools, we are passing the tool list. And agent, we have to assign this task to an agent, right? And the agent we have already created, and we assigned a variable name data analyst, right? So this is our agent. So we are assigning this task to an agent, and the expected output is give a correct response, right? So you try to understand the context and you answer the question, what is natural language processing, right? So far we have created an agent, data analyst agent, and we created a task and we assigned this task to data analyst agent. So step number 1, creating agent. Step number 2, creating the task. And the next step is creating the crew. So let's create the crew. So how do we create the crew? We have already imported this crew, which is inside CrewAI. So let's use crew and pass both agent and task. If you have multiple agents, you have to pass them inside this list. And similarly for tasks, if you have multiple tasks, you have to pass them as a list. Okay, so that is how we created our crew. So we have created the agent and then task and then crew. So once you have the crew ready, the next step is we have to run the crew. Okay, so inside the crew, we have a method called kickoff. So by using that, we will run the crew. And we are trying to store the results inside a variable called output. And now let's try to print the results, output.raw. Okay, now let's save this file and let's try to execute the code. So let me comment this print statement. And now either you can kill the terminal or you can just clear the session. And now let's try to rerun the code. Okay, so let's see the output and try to understand what it has given for us. So this is the complete output. We are seeing this complete output because we gave verbose is equal to true, right? So that is why it is trying to give us the detailed execution log. So you can see here thought, I now can have a great answer. Your final answer must be the great and the most complete as possible. It must be outcome described, and this is the educator agent. So that is what we have created here, right? And what is the thought? I need to conduct a search for the definition and explanation of NLP in the provided context and using the tool. This is the tool I'm using, and for that tool I'm passing this as the input and I'm trying to search, right? So it is trying to search and you can see the complete detailed execution log here, and finally it reached the maximum iterations. So if you scroll down all the way, you can see maximum iterations reached, requesting the final answer, and the final answer is natural language processing. NLP is a subfield of artificial intelligence that focuses on the interaction between computers and humans through natural language, right? So it gave us the complete answer. So here we are trying to print this output and also we are trying to print this, so that's why we are seeing it twice. So let me close this and let me try to explain real quick what we did here. So the first thing is we try to install the required packages CrewAI and also CrewAI tools. So from CrewAI tools we try to import scrape website tool and text search tool, and from CrewAI we imported agent, task and crew, and we also imported OS module. And the first one is we used scrape website tool and we passed our website that we want our tool to scrape, and inside the scrape website tool we have a method called run, and we called the run method and we stored our scraped data inside a variable called text. Whatever the data we extracted, we are trying to write that to a file called AI, and we are trying to store that inside documents data folder. And then the next step is we are using this text search tool and we are passing this file name so that we can get our desired context. Here, out of artificial intelligence, we are only interested in NLP, natural language processing. So that is our context. So inside the text search tool, we have a method called run and we are passing this so that we will get the context, and we are storing that inside a variable called context. And in order to build a multi-agentic framework by using CrewAI, we have to create agent, task, and crew. So how do we create an agent? By using this, we have to pass all these parameters: role, goal, and backstory. So this is nothing but prompt engineering. Verbose is equal to true means it will give us the complete execution log. Allow delegation is equal to false. If you want multiple agents to delegate the work to each other, then you give allow delegation is equal to true, and the tools which we have defined already. So we have created our agent. And the next step is creating the task. How do we create the task? By using this task, we are passing these values for description, understand the topic, and give the correct response. And then for tool, whatever the tool we have defined, we are assigning that to tools. And the agent, we have already created an agent, we assign that to an agent. And the expected output is give a correct response. And the next step is creating the crew. Once we created the agent and the task, the next step is creating the crew and assigning the agents. This is the agent list. For task, we are assigning the task list. And once we have the crew, next step is running the crew by calling the kickoff method which is inside crew. So that will give us the output of the specific task, right? So this is how you can build an agentic framework by using CrewAI, right? So we only have like 3 steps here: creating an agent, creating a task, creating the crew, and then running the crew. Here we have only created one agent, but in the next lecture we will see how we can create multiple agents and multiple tasks, and how we can assign multiple tasks to multiple agents, and how we can build a multi-agentic framework by using this CrewAI. Alright, thank you.